What's up, everybody? This is my 2002 Mercedes-Benz ML55 AMG, and today I'm going to be reconditioning these headlights. These headlights, as you can probably see in the video, are hazy, they're cloudy, and they're somewhat yellow. That's because these are the original headlights that came with the truck, and so they're 21 years old, and the sun over time starts to eat away at the UV coating that come on the actual plastic lenses from the factory. So what we're going to do today is I'm first going to pop the hood, create some space around the light. Good thing with these MLs is that this piece underneath the headlight here is easily removable. I'm going to remove that, tape off any body panels that come into contact with or are very close to the headlight itself, and I'm going to wet sand and then clear coat the headlights. A lot of people have different means by which they try to clear headlights. This, in my personal opinion, is by far the most permanent, the most long-lasting, and if you do it properly, it can make the lights look brand new for a very, very long time. Now in the video, these might not seem too cloudy or too foggy, but I'm going to turn on the headlights real quick. Now hopefully this displays it a bit, but the turn signal you can barely see. It just disperses across the lens. Same thing with the low beam. It's just dispersing across the lens. And from here, it looks nice and white in person. I'm sure on the video it looks almost yellow. But on the road, when lights are foggy like this, when lights are hazy like this, you lose so much functional visibility. I'm looking over here on the door, and I'll turn the camera around and show that these lights are not as bright as they're supposed to be. They're not nearly as bright as they're supposed to be. I'm actually changing the bulbs today too to Phillips Xtreme Vision Gen 2, the brightest D2S bulbs you could put in a car. I'm putting them in here today as well. After I clear the lights, I'm going to show a before and after, but what I'm going to first show is a before with these original bulbs on the wall like this as well, and you're going to see the major difference in visibility alone. Forget about how nice the car is going to look after, but in visibility alone at night. Take a look. So these are the low beams. You could see in the video pretty much the passenger side is dimmer than the driver's side. I don't think that has to do with the clouding of the lights. I think if you actually look at the color, you'll see that the passenger side is a little bit more yellow. That's just age. HID bulbs start to lose their intensity over time as they age and as they start to wear out. So we are replacing the bulbs today, but just take a look. This is the before, okay? The cutoff line is not crisp, and like I said, the lights are decent, but they can be much brighter, even with these current bulbs. Look at all that haze. Look at all of that. Let's try to get up in here. There you go, look at that. See all that? Look at that turn signal. Where is it? It's hiding. Same thing on the passenger side. Okay, look at all of that nastiness. And you can see all of this around. We're going to get all of that off. Here are the products that are required for this particular job. Not necessarily the brands, but just the type of tools. So starting at the left here, we have clear plastic. I got this from Home Depot for $2 and something cents. It's 9 foot by 12. Basically, after I'm done sanding, what I do is I put the plastic around the area around the headlights so that when I spray the clear coat, no overspray gets anywhere on the vehicle, because you certainly do not want paint overspray, even if it's clear, on your actual paint or any parts of the car if you can avoid it. Here I have rubbing alcohol because between the 500 and 800 grit, I'm going to clean off the lights to make sure I get any excess materials off of the lights, and then one more time before I spray the clear coat to make sure that there's absolutely no debris on the lights if I'm going to be spraying clear paint on it. The next is the actual sanding kits. Now here I have the 3M one. This one is by Pittsburgh Automotive. This can be had at Harbor Freight stores. So the Pittsburgh is essentially the same as 3M, but almost half price. This was like 12 bucks, and this is like 30 bucks. So it's actually less than half price. They both come with 500 grit 3-inch sanding discs, 800 grit 3-inch sanding discs, 3000 grit 3-inch sanding discs, a polishing disc, and actually the Pittsburgh comes with masking tape or painter's tape as well. So the Pittsburgh kit actually has more, and it's less than half price. Now, I'm not trying to bash 3M, and I'm not necessarily trying to speak highly of the Pittsburgh, but if we're talking value for money, the Pittsburgh has more things, has the exact same things plus tape, and it's less than half price. I'm gonna say this is definitely the better option. If you can stop by Harbor Freight, you can have 2 of these for the price of this one here. But let's move on. In these kits, we're gonna be using 500 grit sanding discs to get the initial nastiness off. We wanna be careful not to take off too much to burn the plastic or create too many deep scratches. And then we go back over it with the 800 grit, which removes a lot of the deeper 500 grit scratches and still leave some scratches of its own. Now these kits are intended to polish the lights after. I'm doing a hybrid with what these were intended for, because what I do is I use the 500 grit, then the 800 grit, and then I clean it and spray the clear coat over the 800 grit, because you want to have a nice surface to bite to, for the clear coat to bite into. It will fill in all of the 800 grit scratches. I promise you, you won't see them in the final result. But these kits, they want you to do 500 grit, 800 grit, 3000 grit, and then polish, but that only lasts for so long. This bottle is just a regular spray bottle, which we're gonna put our water in so that we can spray the lenses as we sand, so that it's a wet sanding and we don't dry sand too much, because we don't wanna create really nasty deep scratches that are gonna be harder to get out. This is a drill. You're gonna need a drill. This is the backing plate that comes with the kit. So the 3-inch sanding discs stick to this. And then finally, more masking tape or painter's tape to put around the body of the vehicle so that we don't, number one, sand into our paint around the headlight, and number two, so that we don't spray clear coat onto our surrounding paint. So now that I've introduced you to the players, I'm going to start by removing this plastic trim piece here. It's just 2 clips here that you remove by hand. And then obviously most cars aren't like this. They don't have a piece under the headlight that you can remove. But the fact that this car does makes it much easier. We have nothing here to worry about. We have nothing up here to worry about. But because this section here comes very close to the light, we're going to put tape all in this area, because the sanding disc is inevitably going to overlap onto that surface. And as long as there's tape there, we shouldn't do any real damage to the paint underneath. The biggest part of this job, the longest, most tedious part of this job, is the preparation. Anytime you're dealing with something to do with paint or correction or anything like that, preparation is the biggest part of the job. Okay, so the driver's side is done now. I'm going to come around the passenger side, which is also done. The last thing you want to do, especially if the gaps are fairly small, is you want to use a credit card or some kind of flat object and just make sure that the tape is folded in, not making contact with the light, and there you go. These lights are removable very easily now that that piece is out. You got one bolt, a clip, and like 2 other bolts. The reason why I want to do this on the car is because, number one, most cars, the headlights, you have to remove the bumper and it's a bigger process, but the leverage is better for me personally if I'm sitting down in that chair, just to do it while the light's on the car. I can see it better rather than aiming down while it's on the floor or my bench or something like that. So I'm going to start with 500 grit sanding paper. I'm going to put it here on the pad. Okay. I'm going to wet the headlight. So we're going to wet sand, right? So I want this to be nice and damp, nice and moist. Your drill, if it has a 1 and a 2, you want to have it on 1, you want to have it on the slower speed. I have it on the slower speed here and all the way up to 15 on there. And now we're just going to get started. You don't want to stay in one place for too long, and you don't want to push too hard. Remember, what we're doing is we're removing material by scratching. We're using this to scratch into it. So if we stay in one place too long or push too hard, we're going to be creating deeper and deeper scratches that are going to be more difficult to remove and might be visible through the clear coat. Now all that white haziness is just the plastic, the material coming off. Oops. So this would have been good. This would have been where taking the light off would have been good because it gets kind of deep in here. So let's try to do this carefully. I think I did all right there. All right, let's get the edge. Get underneath a little. I'm going to wet it again. Now, I don't know if you can tell, some of that yellowing that was there has already come off. Obviously, the lens is hazy. We know this because what we're doing is scratching it up with the sand discs, which is perfectly normal. All right, so this sanding disc has lost a bit of its grit, which is fine because we have 6 of the 500 grit discs, which means that we could use 3 per light should we need to. Look at that, it's already looking better. Obviously it's not looking clearer per se, but you can see a lot of the haze that was originally in the lens and the yellowness has left the building. So that's the 4th pass with the 500 grit. I'm going to do 4 per light, but I'm also going to remove this light now. So I can get the outer edge. I'm going to spray the light with Clearcoat off the vehicle anyway. I just came to that conclusion because that would prevent me from having to mask off the truck. Okay, so what we're going to do in between the different grits is we're going to wipe the lenses with alcohol, get all of that sanding residue off, and look at that. It's already starting to look good as far as the yellowing, and the fact that it's so hazy means that we're doing a good job. We're getting all up in there. So now we're going to take, what is this, a 13 millimeter? This is a 10 millimeter. We're going to take a 10 millimeter. Let's get the other two. One right here. So the top one is a bolt. The bottom two are nuts. All are 10 millimeter though. All right, everybody. So this is the final result of all the sanding. This is after 4 wet sanding passes with the 500 grit and then 3 wet sanding passes each with the 800 grit. They look hazy, right? They look scratched up, but that's the point. The white haziness is what you want to see before clear coat, because yellow haziness means that you did not take enough of the plastic off. All right, so now without further ado, we're going to get right to clear coating. So the product I'm using today is going to be Spraymax 2K 2-in-1 Headlight Clear. In the past, I've used Spraymax 2K Glamour Clear Coat, which is what everybody used, and then I guess Spraymax got wind of that and decided to make their own headlight lens clear. So this is specifically for headlights. Let's get to it. All right, so to use this, since it is a 2K clear, it has an activator. So you put this in the bottom and let it click. So now, whatever it is, the hardener or whatever second part of this that makes it 2K just got mixed in, and so we want to shake it real good. And we're going to do a light coat for the first one with 50-50 overlaps. I don't like how one of those passes, how it's sprayed, kind of sputtered a little bit. I read that this doesn't spray as well as the regular 2K clear, but I ordered it anyway. Hopefully, I mean, look how clear that is, just from one. Can you see that in the camera? Compare the two of them right now, just from one pass. Golly, why is it doing that? People said it does that too. Well, the can's screwed up on that first coat of the driver's side light, so now it's way too thick. I don't know how that's gonna dry. So far, as this is drying, that first coat, it looks immaculate. There's no orange peel. It looks perfect. This one went on too thick in some areas, so it's got some weird splotches. And there's a little bit of orange peel, but hopefully the second coat will take care of that. Yeah, this corner part isn't the greatest, but we'll see. So I actually just did my driver's side E500 headlight with the regular 2K clear from Spraymax. I did it outside, and in my last coat, the first couple coats were fine, but in my last coat, because I did 3 coats, wind came and kind of made the spray go onto the headlight too light. So basically what happened was, I have orange peel. So the way to get rid of orange peel in this scenario is to wet sand with 3000 grit and then polish. And that's what I'm gonna do with the E500 light, and that's what I'm gonna do with these. Because yes, this is clear and it looks great, except for all of those little weird imperfections in the lens. So let's see what happens when it dries. I doubt that it's gonna dry to anything passable. This looks good though. This one, I'll take this. Look at that. No orange peel at all. Very, very nice. Isn't that nice? Look at that. Even though that one, the finish is not that great, it's completely clear. It's just, there's no, I don't know how to explain it. Like, you can't even really see it till you go really, really up close. I'm sure in the sunlight it doesn't look the greatest, but it doesn't even have orange peel. Like, my E500 has orange peel. This headlight clear, actually, it seems to be better for headlights than the regular 2K clear from Spraymax. Because even though that's drying really splotchy, it's still very clear. I'm still gonna sand it, wet sand it with 3000 grit. Obviously not today, you have to let it harden for at least 24 hours, but look at this one. Look at the passenger side. Look how beautiful that is. That looks like a brand new headlight. Show me one imperfection. That looks like a brand new headlight. And now for the moment of truth. Yeah, look at that. Look at that. Look at how clear the light shines through. It's just completely, it looks like I put the new bulbs in already, right? I didn't, and I will. As soon as these dry a little bit more, I'm gonna put them on. I'm gonna put them in. But look at this. Look how much better that looks. And look at it on the wall. I'm gonna show a before and after. But look at that. Clear cutoff line. Clear cutoff line. Very good light distribution. Looks way, way better. Look at the high beams. Look at that. I don't even need new bulbs now. I'm putting them in because they're the brightest bulbs on the market. But look at that. See the difference? See what just sanding and clear coating your headlights will do? This is the bad lens. This is the one with the splotches and stuff. This one actually has a couple too. I'm gonna wet sand and polish these in a couple days when I do the E500, so I'll bring you along on that journey as well. But look at that. Oh wow, look, my remnants of these turn signal bulbs getting too hot and melting in there, I guess. I don't want those things floating around in there, so I have to change those out. Maybe it's time to get LEDs. Yeah, man, look at that. Beautiful. So whatever bulbs were in here before and is still on the driver's side must have been a higher Kelvin rating, so a bluer light. Because as you can see on the wall, the passenger one, which is the Phillips, is more yellow, whitish yellow. But look at how much brighter it is. Look at that hot spot. It puts a lot more light out. Right in that hot spot area, which shoots down the road than here. Look at this. Yeah, it's bluer up here. and this is whiter, but look at that. Yeah, I just made that sound. See the high beams? Oh yeah. See that? Look up here. Look at all that space. Look how it's not that great. See all this? That's down the road lighting. Doesn't look like much in here. The light's on and the wall's reflective, the door's reflective, but trust me, it's good. I'm ecstatic at that. Look at that cutoff line. Just again, I'm gonna put a before and after. Look at how you couldn't even tell where the cutoff line was before. And look at how crisp it is now. It is so good. And I can't wait to drive at night with this. Now this and my E500 both have clear lenses. Both have Phillips Xtreme Vision Gen 2 D2S bulbs. And I couldn't be happier. So I'm gonna wrap this up, put the under headlight plastic pieces back on. So today was a great day, and it was great hanging out with everybody. I hope that all of you took some joy in watching this, or at least learned something and enjoyed yourselves. I'm signing off. See you guys next time. So I have a and this is the next day. Wow, these lights look brand new. Couple little minor surface imperfections, but I don't even think I'm gonna do anything about that. I might wet sand and polish this one, but wow, it's still extremely clear. You have to be right up close to see those things. From here, it looks brand new. These lights look brand new. That's amazing.